President Biden has one race left to go related to the federal judiciary. He's got less than 70 days to confirm 45 federal judgeships, 44 at the trial level, 1 at the appellate level. It matters. It matters to the face of our judiciary going forward, to be used as a bulwark against Donald Trump's right-wing MAGA Project 2025 policies, and to have federal judges in place to be the firewall to protect our democracy. Speaking of protecting our democracy, I'm Michael Popok. You're on the new Legal AF YouTube channel. I've been confused since Tuesday. And we are sitting here at the intersection of law and politics. You know that already. Now's the time to subscribe and help build and strengthen our network, our community, as we move forward to the midterms and beyond, and the lawsuits that invariably are going to have to be filed to stop Donald Trump dead in his tracks once he becomes president. So let me sit here at the intersection and talk about this filling of the federal judgeships. Let's not forget, or if you didn't know, let me tell you straight here on this hot take, that Joe Biden, during his 4 years, filled 166 federal district court judge positions. That's the trial level within our federal court system. He filled 44 were to the Court of Appeal. 44 appellate judges, 166 at the district court level. He's got in the pipeline, and he's got the Senate, a tenuous hold on the Senate, with Kamala Harris still the president of the Senate, to break ties. He's got openings, 44 judge openings at the district court, trial court level. 1 so far at the circuit court level for the First Circuit, right? There's 13 circuits. The First Circuit, which covers Maine, Massachusetts, Puerto Rico, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island, that has to be filled as well. If he's able to do all that, he'll surpass Donald Trump's appointments, at least to the trial court level, but he won't do that. He won't match Donald Trump in terms of the courts of appeal. Let's walk it through. When Joe Biden has had the opportunity, he's done well in terms of diversity hires and getting those picks filled. Of his selections, his 166 plus 44 that have gone into these federal positions, 66% of them have been women. 66% of them have been minorities. Just as a comparison, no surprise, only 24% of Donald Trump's appointments to the federal bench are women, and only 14% have been minorities. That's the person the people just voted for to be the president of the United States. Let's set that aside for a minute. In order for Joe Biden, in the remaining 70 days or so, to overcome Donald Trump and put these firewall federal judges in place, and to go over and get to the 210 judge mark, surpassing Donald Trump by at least 40 or so, he's got to hurry up. He's got the Senate right now, he's got the vice president, and he's got time. But Chuck Schumer and the Judiciary Committee and the feds have got to motor through and get these 45 judges confirmed. Time is running out, right? We don't have a lot of oxygen left in the tank here. It's possible. It's what presidents who have lost or don't run again do in their remaining days. Besides considering who they're going to pardon, hint, hint, Hunter Biden, they also consider how to get the remaining judge positions filled. This is life or death. Every one of these federal judges could play an important role, depending upon where they're located, in a future case that's filed against Donald Trump's policies, executive orders, and laws. We need friendly, progressive, fair-thinking judges in those positions to get the ball rolling. We need these 44 to get in, and we need the last spot on the First Circuit Court of Appeals to be filled as well. There's no excuse at this point. Joe Biden's complete focus, besides making sure the world doesn't continue to be inflamed and find ways to handle his foreign policy from a federal court policy, there's nothing more important. Nothing more important than to get these people, these judges, confirmed in the next 70 days. Some people are asking, what about the Supreme Court? In other words, if there were an opening on the Supreme Court, it happens, either voluntarily or involuntarily. What happens? You know what's going to happen. The Republicans are going to try to filibuster and stop Joe Biden from filling that Supreme Court seat. And given the Democrat approach in the past, it's likely that even if there is an opening on the Supreme Court, Joe Biden will be unable to fill it. They did the same thing against Barack Obama, leaving the seat open. Merrick Garland was supposed to get that seat. He wasn't supposed to even be our attorney general. That was a consolation prize. How did that work out? But in the meantime, that seat eventually went to Amy Coney Barrett later on and others. So to answer the question that's out there, if there's a Supreme Court opening, somebody retires like Sotomayor to try to take advantage of a Democratic president still being in place to pick her successor, will they be able to get it through? And the thinking people think that's not going to happen. That because the majority is so slim with the Senate right now, and you have to rely on outgoing Joe Manchin, who caucuses along with the Democrats, even though he's not really a Democrat, he's an independent, that they don't have the will or the balls in the remaining hours or days of this administration and their term in this Congress to shove through a Supreme Court justice, even if it was Sotomayor resigning or retiring to fill the spot. So I think she's going to have to sit tight. If she thought, okay, I'm about 70 or so, I'm going to retire, she's going to have to sit tight for another 4 years, kind of pull a Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because we can't allow that seat to go over to Republicans. Otherwise, it'll be a 7-2 for the next 2 generations. I mean, that was the calling. That was the reason we were pushing so hard for Kamala to be elected. But it is what it is. The federal judiciary under Donald Trump is not good. There's very few women. There's very few minorities. It's a lot of young white guys that aren't going anywhere for a long time because they have lifetime appointments. And he was able to fill right now more than Joe Biden. Joe Biden can surpass that. But he's, as I've said at the top of this hot take, he's got to get another 44 done. It is doable. There is political will for that in the Senate. It's got to be led by the head of the Judiciary Committee for the Senate. It's people like Sheldon Whitehouse. It's got to be led by others in the confirmation process and Chuck Schumer. And they have to make this, they got to make this a priority. It's time for the Democrats to start sharpening their elbows and taking a page out of the Republicans' book, or we're going to get our lunch eaten once again. So this is my clarion call to Sheldon Whitehouse and others in the Senate. Get these 45 confirmed. We've got to hit those numbers. We got to go over 200 federal judges appointed by Joe Biden if we have any hope of bringing those future cases, because as I've said on other hot takes, there's going to be not one, not two, but 500, 800, 1,000 or more lawsuits filed during Donald Trump's first term or second term, where he tries to reverse Joe Biden's policies. It's going to happen. Progressive organizations and public interest groups like the American Civil Liberties Union, like Democracy Now!, like Planned Parenthood and others, and other groups I haven't even thought of or haven't even been formed yet, are going to be bringing those suits to use the Constitution and federal law and administrative law against Donald Trump in order to rein in his implementation of Project 2025 as policy in this country. And federal courts are going to play an important role whether we like it or not. And I want as many playing for my team as possible. And that's why I implore the Biden White House, Kamala Harris, help leave a lasting legacy of federal judges. That's a good thing for you to do if you want to continue to represent the party as a leader. Help get these federal. If anything, I think she should run the show. She knows how to run a successful campaign. I mean, she didn't win, but she knows how to take 2.5 months and make it a horse race at some point. Put her in charge of the federal courts and get the 44-1 and let her run on that in the future. Something. But at the end of the day, I don't care who's in charge. We got to get these 45 in. We got to get over the 220 mark for Joe Biden. It's just that important. I'm going to continue to follow it all here on Legal AF, this new channel we're doing in collaboration with the Midas Touch Network. And now's the time to join us. Subscribe. If you left because you were annoyed by Tuesday, I was annoyed by Tuesday. Hit the free subscribe button. Come on back. I welcome you back. There's going to be, I can't even tell you how many lawsuits are going to have to be analyzed all the way up to the United States Supreme Court in just about 60 or 70 days' time. We're strategizing now about it. We're making you knowledgeable about it now. We're calling it out and we're putting pressure on right here on Legal AF. Join us and on Legal AF, the podcast over on the Midas Touch Network. So until my next hot take, my next contribution here as the curator of Legal AF, I'm Michael Popok, and I'm reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.